Good afternoon. In this video, we'll look at various string handling and array handling activities. It's all the activities in the do-it-yourself for day 4. The first question is to check whether a word or string is a palindrome, meaning it reads the same from the back or the front. I wrote a function that receives a string, and then to make sure that it always works, I change the whole string to lowercase. For instance, if you put in Eve with a capital E, it is a palindrome, but the first E is a capital. So if you change it all to lowercase, it will be better. And then you can remove the leading spaces in case you accidentally enter Eve space. Then it won't be a palindrome. And then I also cleaned it from all other punctuation. So for instance, if you say something like it's with an apostrophe, it will remove those characters and only keep the letters if it's in the character set. And I built a new string like that, and then the actual return is a Boolean value checking whether the cleaned string, that is the one that I created here, is the same as when you reverse it using the method for lists. Then I ask the user for input. I call that a function sending this input string, and then I display a message to say whether it's a palindrome or not. I test it, and I'm deliberately typing Eve, which is a palindrome but with a capital E, and that works. And if I put in another word like Adam, Adam is not a palindrome. The second question was really interesting for me. Because of the fantastic split method that is built in, you can create a list of all the words in a sentence by simply using the split method. By default, it uses spaces, and then you can count how many words that you actually get in that list that was created using the split method. Then in the main program, you just ask the user to input any sentence, and then it calls that method, sending the sentence from the user input, and then receives that length. So the number of words will be the length, the number of items in this list. Let's test it. I love programming in Python. Number of words 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The third question was very specific, to input a string and then return the first 3 characters. We will use simply using the built-in method, and then the last 3 characters starting from the end, the third last character up to the end. This one starts from 0 up to 2. And then the middle part, I assume, is everything else in the string. Now, if the string only had 6 or less characters, you won't get anything there. So that's why I return nothing in that case. Otherwise, I start at character 3 and I go to 3 from the end. You get the string from the user, and then it displays the output. Let's test it. Programming. So the first 3 letters PRO, last 3 ING, and the rest of the string is the middle part. Question 4 was really interesting. I used 2 lists in the function to solve it. The user inputs a sentence, and that sentence is sent to this function. The function receives the sentence and then starts with 2 empty lists. This list will consist of all the characters in that string, and this one will have the corresponding number of times or frequency that those characters appear in this sentence. So in the beginning, you check if a character is already in this one. Now obviously the first character won't be there, so then you will just append that characters list. So now you've added the first letter, and you increase, or you put a 1 in the counter list. Then for the second letter, it might be, say it was 2 of the same letter in the beginning, it will say it's already there. Then you have to find the position of that character in the list. So that's where index is used. And then in that position, so the corresponding position, you increase that count in this list. So if it's a new character, you add it, and you add the count, a count of 1. And if it's the same character, it's already there, you increase the count in the corresponding position. And then I displayed the result. Oh yeah, the other interesting thing is you return 2 lists in this function. Therefore, when you call this function, you have to put 2 variables here to receive those 2 values: chars to characters and counts to frequencies. And then you can use these 2 lists in the output. So I've used a for loop so that I can display the character and the frequency with a hyphen in between for all the characters. Let's test it. Okay, let's say Stempedia Python code. So each letter, and you can also see there were 2 spaces there, and all the other letters. The one that occurred the most times is E, the E in Stempedia, and it's in code. There are 2 in Stempedia. And the 5th question was to simply concatenate 2 strings and then repeat it a number of times. So I decided to make a function that receives the 2 strings to concatenate as well as the number of times it has to repeat. So it returns the multiplied string, or the string repeated a number of times. The input from the user is for the first name, last name, and the number of times to repeat it. And then when you call it, it displays, you send the 3 values, user input values, and the output, this string, after it was multiplied, will be displayed. Let's test it. I'll put in my own name. And let's say I want to repeat it 3 times. So it repeats Marina Myburg, Marina Myburg, Marina Myburg. There aren't any spaces here because there was no space after Myburg.